どうもお疲れ様です。ひろき先生です。Welcome back to For All Japanese Learners. Today's lesson will focus on the grammar nara found in Genki textbook page 34 section 4 and the first edition is on page 14 and also section 4. We're going to learn about nara, a Japanese expression that has multiple meanings in one word. In this lesson, we will focus on limitation and contrast as explained in Genki's textbook. The meaning of the grammar can be expressed the single sentence as it is true of one thing or another, although it is not true or other things. I think it is hard to understand what I'm talking about, so I will explain it with an example sentence as soon as possible. Please look at these example sentences. A says, 何か楽器ができますか? And B, ギターならできます。Can you play any musical instrument? I can play the guitar. So, in this sentence, Mr. B can't play any other instrument, but he can play only guitar. And more, Mr. A says, B さんはサッカーをしますか? And B says, しないです。でも野球ならします。Do you play soccer, Mr. B? No, I don't, but I play baseball. This means that Mr. B don't play soccer, but he does play baseball. In other words, you can use this expression to say that you do one thing while not knowing about other things. I think this is a little confusing, so I will explain it in more details with some easy to understand example sentences as usual. By the way, here's how expression is connected to the other words. Verb, adjective, noun, plus nara. And the JLPT is N4 level. Okay, so let's start today's lesson. Example 1. アメリカに行ったことがありますか? ドイツなら行ったことがありますが、アメリカは行ったことがないです。ドイツなら行ったことがありますが、アメリカは行ったことがないです。Have you ever been to the United States? I have been to Germany, but I never been to the US. As explained at the beginning, nara has the meaning of a limitation and contrast. It explained that I have been to Germany in a limited way, but in contrast, I have never been to the United States. The same meaning can be achieved by changing the order of the sentences. アメリカに行ったことがありますか? アメリカは行ったことがないですが、ドイツならあります。アメリカは行ったことがないですが、ドイツならあります。I have never been to the US, but I have been to Germany. The meaning is exactly the same, just in a different order. By the way, in the second sentence, you can omit the verb and just say, I have been to Germany. Since the previous sentence mentions the verb, there is no need to say it again. Of course, there's no problem if you said it twice. Okay, so let's look at the other example sentences. 猫を飼ったことがありますか? 犬なら飼ったことがありますが、猫はありません。犬なら飼ったことがありますが、猫はありません。Have you ever owned a cat? I have had a dog, but not a cat. In this sentence, you say you have had a dog in limited use. In contrast, you say you have never owned a cat. As in the previous example sentence, you can change the order and it will mean the same thing. I've never had a cat, but I have had a dog. Since Mr. A has already given the verb to keep a cat, Mr. B answers by omitting the verb. In this way, it is possible to cut off duplicated information. Of course, the meaning will not change. However, if you want to give a more polite impression, it sounds more polite to repeat the same verb. So, how about the following example sentences? Example 3. B さんは本を読みますか? 漫画なら読みますよ。漫画なら読みますよ。 Do you read books, Mr. B? I read manga. In this sentence, no contrasting information is given. However, as an inference, the use of the word nara indicates that the respondent does not read novels or business books other than manga. In this way, even if the contrast information is removed, the meaning is still understood, but it would be kinder to give the contrast information because it would make the other person's guess. Example 4. 料理ができますか？いいえ、できません。でも、味噌汁くらいなら作れますよ。いいえ、できません。でも、味噌汁くらいなら作れますよ。Can you cook? No, I cannot, but I can at least make miso soup. This is a simple yes-no question, but after answering no, you mention a limited item if it's only miso soup. In this sentence, contrast is explained as I cannot cook and the limited is compared at the name of the specific dish. Since this kind of usage is possible, the contrasting word does not necessarily have to be a noun. Here are a few more example sentences so you can get used to using nara. 明日は時間がありますか？午後から忙しいので午前なら大丈夫です。午後から忙しいので午前なら大丈夫です。Do you have time tomorrow? I'm busy in the afternoon, so the morning will be fine. In contrast to saying that you are busy in the afternoon, you are limiting yourself to saying that you can do it in the morning. Example 6. バイクを運転できますか？車なら運転できます。車なら運転できます。Can you drive a motorcycle? I can drive a car. You omit the information I cannot drive a motorcycle and say yes, I can drive a car. Example 7. メタルを聞きますか？メタリカなら聞きます。メタリカなら聞きます。Do you listen to metal music? I listen to Metallica. This sentence conveys the information in a limited way that you may not listen to other metal music, but you would listen to Metallica. Here are some paraphrases that I showed you today. 行く、訪ねる。行く is translated as go and 訪ねる as visit. 行く has the meaning of expressing the action itself, such as moving from a place or proceeding in a direction, while visit 訪ねる has the meaning of aiming at the place where there are people or things, and is used when the destination or purpose is clearly defined. The word used in everyday life is 行く. In Japanese, 訪ねる, the visit sounds more polite, so in a casual situations, it is more common to say 行く. 飼う、飼育する. Both 飼う and 飼育する indicate the state of owning an animal, but 飼う generally refers to the state of keeping an animal as a pet. In contrast, 飼育する generally indicates the state of owning livestock, so we do not often say ペットを飼育する. Of course, it grammatically is not a mistake, but 飼育する sounds a little bit dry. 読む、読書。読む means to say aloud what is written in letters. It also means to understand the meaning and the content of written words in the sentences. In contrast, 読書 means to read a specific book. So if you like to read books, you can say 読書が趣味です。運転する、操縦する。運転する is used to move large machinery such as cars, motorcycles, and generators, while 操縦する is a limited verb used to move very large machinery such as airplanes, which require complex operations and knowledge. It is not wrong to say 車を操縦する, but since the vehicle is not as complicated to operate as an airplane, we usually say 車を運転する. So, how was today's lesson? Was it a little difficult?
Of course, many of you are new to this grammar, so please go over and over again to deepen your understanding. Well, now it's time for quiz. For today, I wanted to make up some sentences. I have introduced some example sentences today, and I would like you to write your original sentences based on them in comment section. If there are any grammatical mistakes, I will reply and correct them in the comment section. Now for the next lesson, the last section of the lesson 13. We're gonna learn about frequency per period in Japanese. For example, 3 times in 1 week. I hope today's lesson was useful to you. So, see you guys in the next lesson, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and see you soon.
動画を見てくれてありがとう。この動画がいいねと思ったら高評価とチャンネル登録お願いします。あとインスタグラムのフォローもよろしくお願いします。それじゃあまた。